It's Sportstar, and joining me today is my colleague Lalit, who's still sulking a bit after movement against his early outstuff from this IPL, but that's fine, Lalit, because we have got the World Test Championship final coming up in a few days' time. India and Australia will take on each other at the Oval from June 7th, and over the next 15 minutes or so, we are going to dive into matchups, conditions, and a bit more about the game.
Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about Ishan Kishan picking KS Bharat for the spot. He's yet to make his Test debut. A lot of players have spoken about him being the X factor in the absence of Rishabh Pant, the left-handed role that he brings in. But again, the conditions are challenging, swing and seam, and given the stage itself, it's a big final for both teams. On first basis, it should be the better keeper that should get the nod, especially for such a game. And India has already tried out KS Bharat in the home matches. So I do think, given the batting that we have had, I think Bharat should make the 11 ahead of Kishan.
KS Bharat has been the preferred option as far as keeper batter goes, especially after Rishabh Pant got injured in that car accident last year. Ishan Kishan hasn't played a Test match, so it would be a bit too harsh on him, I would say, to expect him to come into a big game like this and perform straight away. Let's not forget, this is also the first time Oval will be hosting a Test match in the month of June. It usually hosts games during warmer, dry weather. So this weather should actually, the conditions hopefully will serve the faster bowlers better, and we have not seen Ishan Kishan keep wickets against the seaming and swinging ball. KS Bharat, of course, was the recent keeper in the Australia series, and he's done an excellent job by this time, and he's quite a handy bat too. Having said that, I can see why India could mull including Ishan Kishan, because he's a player in the mold of Rishabh Pant. One of the key factors behind Rishabh Pant's rise in Test cricket has been his role as a disruptor. He comes in and just takes the game away in a matter of maybe 50-60 balls even, and that is the kind of game that even Ishan Kishan plays. Whether he's able to replicate that in Test cricket against a quality Australian fast bowling attack remains to be seen.
It's interesting that you said that it's the first time Oval will be hosting a Test match in June. So conditions would favor a bit more of seam rather than the drier conditions where the spinners have actually had a role at the Oval. Taking the case of Shardul, he's last played a Test match here in 2022 during the rescheduled 5th Test between India and England. And Ashwin was, of course, not part of the 11 back then. India played 4 seamers. And yeah, I think it will come down to the conditions where ball might help the seamers. India could, look at Shardul ahead of Ashwin as the 4th pacer with Shami and Siraj and maybe one of Unadkat or Umesh Yadav making the top 3. And also, you can't disregard what Ashwin has done, and especially the record that he has had against someone like Steve Smith in recent years. In their matchups, last 11 innings against Ashwin, Smith has been dismissed 5 times. So obviously, and also taking into the account of how many left-handers Australia might have.
Right, yeah.
So it'll be interesting. It'll come down to how the weather and everything holds up on the game.
Because they are all-rounders, their batting will also have a bearing on it, and both of them are equally good. Ashwin can hold one end up.
But again, Shardul
exactly.
hasn't played a lot of
games. He hasn't played a lot of games, and he had a pretty confusing IPL to say the least. Actually, it looked like KKR just couldn't figure out what to do with Lord Thakur. Some games he was batting up the order, sometimes he wasn't batting at all, or he was in the 11 and not bowling.
Also coming off an injury.
So it'll be interesting to see how the Indian management handles that dilemma.
Indian batters generally haven't had, the current lot hasn't had a good record at the Oval. But Rohit is one person who would be happy to be back here. It's a ground where he broke his overseas test century drought in 2021 with 127 against England. And we've also seen how actually Rohit has played over the years in England. despite the conditions, challenging conditions, even during the World Cup in 2019,
Right.
he'd come off a very lean IPL season as a batter, but he sort of picks up in those conditions, and I think we'll take a lot of inspiration from the way he countered the seam attack of England in 2021. So I do think, Rohit, I don't think the conditions would challenge him as much. It will be about the mental adjustment, how much he can do it in the short space of time.
Right. I think Rohit will also benefit from having someone like Shubman Gill at the other end. Both Shubman and Rohit are stroke players who sort of feed on scoring quickly. But Shubman is coming off a brilliant purple patch. He's expected to score quickly. That will give Rohit some time to settle in. One of the key aspects of his batting in 2021, when he scored so heavily against England, was his ability to lead the ball.
Yeah.
So, and since it's a one-off test match, you never know, it's England, so it could rain again. Although there is a reserve day, guys, 12th June. So the teams will also keep a very keen eye on the scoring rate. And that way, I think India will be glad that Shubman Gill is going into this final with the kind of form that he is. There's also Cheteshwar Pujara, who was playing in the county circuit and was scoring bucket loads of runs. So that's a big plus. Virat Kohli has looked good. So yeah, the Indian top order, of course, Rohit Sharma is a class act and expect him to come good in current situations. So the top order looks settled. It's the middle that looks a bit wonky, but I'm sure the management is working keenly on it and will have an answer for us come June 7th. Some of them have been playing in the county circuit, like the Indians. You've got Manas, you've got Smith. Smith had a patchy season with Sussex. Manas has been scoring runs heavily. The two pillars of Australian batting, you would say?
Yeah, definitely. Especially in a match like this, and Smith has over the years got a very good record at the Oval. If I'm not wrong, he's scored over 350 runs in just 3 matches. And again, that will be the key matchup which decides which would probably decide the game. How Smith and Labuschagne stands up to the Indian seam bowling as well, Mohammad Shami and Siraj, and probably if India is playing both of Ashwin and Jadeja.
Interestingly, Bharat Arun, the former Indian bowling coach, had said how one of India's plans during that last India tour of Australia, that of course culminated with that brilliant Rishabh Pant innings. Then one of their main aim was to ensure that even if a Smith or a Manas Labuschagne gets 100, they don't score it very quickly. So, and given that this is a one-off test match, you would assume that the plan will be similar. And we also saw India trying a leg slip trap for both batters. And that also ties into our previous discussion about whether Ashwin should play, because Ashwin has had the wood over both these batters, and both of them like this, or as Manas Labuschagne calls it, his battle of chess with Ravichandran Ashwin. That brings us to the end of this discussion. There's plenty more. Each day we'll keep giving you updates from the day's play. We'll be running a live blog, so please do keep a keen eye. We have a new website, so do follow us, do give us your feedback. We really value it. And that'll be all. This is Ayan signing off with Lalit. Thank you so much.